All right. Welcome. It's gonna be episode 69 of JAYSTRAYS. Thanks for joining me. We've got a end of the year harvest coming out here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna capture what we can. This thing keeps throwing tomatoes, so we're gonna get as much as we can here. We got all kinds of stuff that we're gonna be pulling out of the garden today, because the freeze is supposed to be happening tomorrow night. So I've kind of pushed as hard as I can. If you watched my earlier episodes, I did a spring planting, and then if you guys saw the hail damage, we got a whole bunch of hail. It was like snow, almost like snow, and it really kind of diminished the growing on all of my fruits and vegetables here. And to tell you the truth, I've never really seen that kind of hail here. And it was like the first month of summer. It was like the first month. It was like maybe June or something, like mid-June. So it's kind of like really random. And so if you circle back the other video, you'll see that giant amount of snow that came down. And you see I'm getting lots of tomatoes here. We did have a lemon cucumber here. Our friend Mr. Squirrel decided to help himself, and he took my very large lemon cucumber, but they did pretty well this year. So we're going to try to grow those again next year, the lemon cucumbers. They're so good. I highly recommend anybody that wants to try some different stuff. And this thing is just buried in tomatoes. So we're gonna get the rest of these tomatoes and we'll move on to the next item. Right there is purple cauliflower. Look at that, purple cauliflower. All right, so JAYSTRAYS, episode 69, fall harvest. Well, I'm certainly not perfect, but the attempt was there. So there's the purple cauliflower. It's the only one that really made it. I had other ones that I had planted, including white cauliflower, and they were actually affected by the that hailstorm that I dealt with. Now over here, we got tomatoes number 2. This is my Romas. Now, mind you, some of these are still green. They can ripen inside the house, but this guy's kind of a late bloomer. But look at these beautiful Romas coming off. So we're gonna get as many of these bad boys off of here, and then we're gonna gravitate over to our friend the peppers. All right, thanks for joining me, JAYSTRAYS. Yeah, so Mr. Freeze is about to step in here, and that's okay. Seasons have to change, but we're here to grab our friend the purple bell pepper. Some call them black, some call them purple. Oops. Got a couple of complete ones. They're like little miniature ones. We got more coming, but there's just not much I can do but reserve some seeds, because that hailstorm really stunted the growth on my chilies, on everything else. Had a huge chili, huge chili harvest last year, but this year a little bit different. This is an Anaheim that hasn't quite turned green all the way. And there are various stages of Anaheims. Here's another Anaheim. And we went ahead and separated all the green tomatoes from the ripe tomatoes. So we're kind of doing a little bit of a, divvying up of things, as it were. Green, but small. I guarantee it's hot because it's an Anaheim. And we got a couple other ones hanging here. There we go. Another one hiding up in here. But yeah, the low is supposed to be like 33 tomorrow night, possibly snow from the Sierra, and perhaps an atmospheric river. Those are always fun. They bring plenty of snow, so I'm able to snowshoe and build igloos and all kinds of other cool stuff that I do in the wintertime. Here's another one. This guy is interesting. All right. So since these already turned black, we'll go ahead and take this little baby guy. Why not? And then this is back over here. These guys are actually pepperoncinis. Yeah, that sucks. I had such a huge batch of pepperoncinis last year. But they're not even green yet. So we've got to keep them off to the side because there's only a couple of them. So only a couple of those guys. There's a bunch sprouting. Bunch sprouting. There's one more. I'm gonna grab this guy. But nowhere near what I did last year. Now, mind you, I planted the peppers in that back corner where the strawberries are. I've let the strawberries eclipse the entire box, which was what was my plan, so that I can have a huge sequoia strawberry harvest next year. So we're in construction mode because we built some stuff. We made this little lowered bed here in the old fountain location, and I think this is the hobby. Yeah, my habanero. He's just starting to drop fruit, but it's too late in the year for him. Back here is jalapenos. Right here is some banana peppers. So I'll grab a couple of banana peppers. But they're nowhere near the size of what I grew last year. They were enormous last year. They were absolutely enormous. Tasty nonetheless. Big ones, small ones. There we go. Well, here's more our speed. Look at that guy. He's pretty nice. All right, we're gonna grab some more of these chilies, kind of clean out the chilies and peppers department, and then we'll work our way over to some other hidden curiosities in this bed. All right, so just unearthed one of our first, I think this is a short top. Short top carrot. He's a fat little dude. Nice. Set that there. So I planted Nanantes, short top. Also have some parsnips here. So we'll see what we're going to unearth here. Yeah. Another little stunted one. Yeah. Look, there we go. Oops, I cut him in half. There he is. I cut him in half. Oops. Well, it's kind of difficult to see where they are. I got some I got some leaves and some other things. They're kind of preventing me from getting a full snapshot. See, there's another one. There we go. It's like digging for gold. There's another carrot. These are all the short tops, I believe. There we go. Digging for gold. Orange gold. Carrots. All right. Let's see if we can See if my magical parsnips that I've been talking about for 2 years came through. Uh-oh. Parsnip. He's not huge, but I grew him from a seed. So we got a parsnip. See if any more of these parsnips came through. Yep. They're just not super huge. There's parsnips. Okay. I believe there's some more here. Kind of just overturning the soil where I planted them. There's another one. He's kind of small. I can see they're developing a root structure, so they could come back next year without planting. Oh, there's a big one. Yeah, parsnips. That's the best one so far. There's another one. They did grow. They didn't get as big as I wanted them to, because I wanted them to be like carrot size. But if I compare them to the short top carrots, they're in the same department. They're shorties. I think I might have a couple more here. Just keep digging. What is this? There's a biggie. Biggie Smalls. There's another one. All right. So it did yield. I got parsnips. So success after gardening season number 3. Second season I've shown on video. All right, still going here. Episode 69. Now I planted them. They came in. So those are those French strawberries. And so what I'm going to do, it's kind of overtaken by some Chinese cabbage, but it grew in really well. There's all kinds of little baby strawberries here. But this guy, I'm planning to make him expand and not grow the Chinese cabbage. I'll put lettuce in another spot or something, but yeah, so he definitely came through. He was kind of a late bloomer. I had to really manicure him really hard to get him to come up, but he's there now. We're kind of overtaken by some of this Chinese cabbage, but that's okay. Here's the business right here. Here's the business right here. Beets, baby. Boom. Oh, look at the size of that one. Fresh beets out of the garden. Oh man. These are rainbow beets, by the way. I was hoping to see different colors. So far they're all coming out purple. All right, man. Look at how red that one is. All right, so we're able to sequester some beets. There was green beans in this corner, but as the season has kind of wound down, well, there is like one good green bean. Look at that, one good purple green bean. But he's done. But purple cauliflower, purple green beans. We've got white parsnips. We do. Anybody wants to share in the video? Boy, you have a lot of weeds. Boy, do I know. I got a lot of weeds out here. That's okay. It's time to get all this stuff buttoned up because the snow is going to be flying. So let's do a final tour. So we're going to expand the French strawberries. We're going to yak out these lettuces. Like I said, I had beans in the corner. We had beets along here. You can see that's pretty decent beet collage. Back over here, that's that black raspberry. He got, got his own box this year. This is our friend the sunflowers. We let this grow every year. We were, for a spell, if you look at last year, I was growing tomatoes in here with the sunflowers, but I decided to let the sunflowers just have their own box because they're a pollinator. And then my herb box, you see I got spearmint, mint, I got thyme, Greek oregano. I had dill down here, but it's already past the season. One of my casualties was this guy. This was my blackberry. The raspberry went so crazy, he overtook the blackberry. Now, these are Willamette raspberries. Absolutely. Oh, so sweet, dude. So incredibly sweet. And so I still have a few out here, and I'll try to grab before the freeze. Birds already came over here and tackled them pretty hard. But we're going to redo this. Part of our lattice collapsed and things like that. So we'll be yakking out the blackberry. We'll let the raspberry have the entire box, just like I'm letting the strawberry take the entire box. Now, I've spent all year working. This thing was like right here. There's, see the stone underneath? That stone was my benchmark. So I've grown this thing 2.5, almost 3 feet, and I've only got a few inches to get it all the way to the brim. And then over here is our friend the blueberry, and it's already the fall. He's by himself. I built this box, but I've heard from my mother and other people that you're supposed to have 2 blueberry bushes planted at the same time. So that'll be something that we're going to look into. But raspberries are, look at how red it is. The raspberries are just still pumping out. Even the strawberries, I wonder if that strawberry actually blossomed. See, I had a couple of strawberries that were actually growing over here. There's sequoia. Oh, believe it or not, folks, look at that. We got a strawberry right there that flowered. There was another one in here, but I don't see him. But we'll keep an eye on him, and we'll be eating him post-haste. But as you can see, this thing's throwing strawberries. It's November. It's like second week of November. It's the 12th. Just to throw that out for context. And I'm still growing all the way to November. But that's only because I pushed it as hard as I can, because I got it. I feel my growth season was shortened due to the fact that we had that hail event, which was pretty crazy. All right, so we'll do a quick roundup and show you what we got, and then we'll say hasta la vista to the garden until next season. All right, JAYSTRAYS, episode 69. Let's do a final recap. All right, so we're kind of just going over our fall harvest here. So we got 4, I guess, medium-sized red beets. This one actually looks like a red one versus purple, because it was supposed to be rainbow beets. So I believe that's a red beet and these are purple. But look at the size of this one. This is like the size you find in a grocery store. I was able to successfully grow some carrots. I've got some parsnips. That was a really hard one for me to get, because I got seeds last year and they didn't germinate, and so these seeds actually did germinate, but I did not get the yield I wanted out of them. But I'm still ending up with a nice little amount there for the fall here. And like I said, this is the second week of November. We got purple cauliflower, we have purple bell peppers, we have one solo purple green bean left. Like I said, this is the end of the fall harvest. I've got Roma tomatoes, I've got grape tomatoes, these are Anaheim chilies, these are Serrano chilies, we have banana peppers, I got a couple of jalapenos back here, a couple of pepperoncinis, so it's not too bad there. And then I've got a whole little bag here of green tomatoes. They'll ripen, and those are the grape tomatoes. And then I have a whole nother bag here of Romas. which they'll also ripen. There you see they're ripening right now. It's half green, half red. So I would say that's not too shabby. You know, we're at the burden of the weather, and we're also at the burden of you know, crazy, strange weather events. But as you can see, we ended up with a pretty decent amount of product, because this is like my second harvest. I already had one harvest, but this one's a little bit cooler. It's got a lot of the different stuff. Next year we're going to be changing kind of how we grow things. Again, I need to do some more pruning back and reveal and give some more sunshine here. I've got to do some more on this Asian elm and cut it back just a smidge, because I want that black raspberry bush to thrive. We got to redo the raspberry bush, and I want that strawberry. You know, we saw those strawberries coming in, and it was a success. And they got these French strawberries. See these little French strawberries? Let's see how they taste. Here, where's the most ripe one? Oh, look at that. French strawberry. So we'll conclude JAYSTRAYS episode 69. We like to take helpful suggestions and you know, recommendations, ways to plant, ways to do soil, ways to do boxes, all that good stuff. So please join me again in the spring for another episode of JAYSTRAYS gardening adventures with his raised beds. But stay tuned for another episode of JAYSTRAYS coming real soon. Thank you for joining me. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and take care from JAYSTRAYS. Small berry, huge taste. Thanks again, guys.